Hello, my name is Afradi Salmon Mujage from Edukea Tanzania. Welcome in this history class of Form 1, topic number 4, which is development of social and political system. Our topic is topic number 4 and is development of social and political system. So on this topic we are going to see different things or different terms like clan organization, the state organization, internship or kingship. We will see the formation of states, centralized and decentralized states, and many others. And we will see another term which is so-called the age-set organization. So by starting with the meaning of kingship or clan, the clan organization was the political organization whereby state headed by the head clan. It means that clan organization was the political organization whereby the state headed by the head clan. Leaders in the clan organization were chosen by heritage system that was either matrilineal or patrilineal society. It means that the leaders in the clan organization were elected by the heritage system that was either matrilineal or patrilineal system. Matrilineal systems are based on the mother's side. It means that the matrilineal society are based on the mother's side, and the child or children which are born are based on the mother's side. For example, Makonde and Zanak are the examples of matrilineal system. And on the other side there is patrilineal system, are based on father's side. It means that these are the societies which children based on the father's side. And the examples of patrilineal society are Skuma and Pare. These are some examples. Even higher are the examples of patrilineal system or patrilineal society. Something to note is the clan leaders in Africa had local names. For example, Skuma are the Ntemi, Nyakyusa are the Malafiale. So you can see that the clan leaders had their names regarding to their society. Let us see chiefdom organization. Chiefdom organization. Therefore, the chiefdom organization system was adopted by societies that were under clan organization. It means chiefdom, therefore, were the system that adopted by many societies that were under clan organization. And these include the Skuma, Chaga, Nyakyusa, etc. It means that the chiefdom or societies that adopted the chiefdom were included like Sukuma, Chaga, Nyakyusa, etc. The functions of a chief in these societies were similar to that of the clan leader. The difference is the chief had a larger area. It means that the function of the chief in these societies were similar to the clan leader, but the difference, the chief had the larger area to head. States Africa can be grouped as follows. It means that the states which appeared or existed in Africa were grouped or classified in the following. There was intercrystalline region. It means that the states in Africa were grouped as follows. The first one was intercrystalline region, which included like Buganda, Bunyolo, Kitala, and Karagwe. Bunyolo, Kitala, Buganda, and Karagwe. These were examples of states or intercrystalline regions or states. Others include Hehe, Nyamwezi, that were the intercrystalline. Sorry, these were not intercrystalline regions or states. But also there were Western Sudanic states, means that the states were classified also according to the Western Sudanic. It means there were Western Sudanic states that involved Ghana, Songhai, Dahomey, Fulani, and Oyo in Central Africa. I mean in West Africa. But there was other states which were Central Africa, that were Nubia and Ethiopia. These were other states. But there were other states which were forest states, like Asante or Ashanti. There was Lunda or Ruba states. Those were forest states. So let us see the age-set organization. Age-set organization. It means the meaning of age-set organization. We have to know the age-set organization by its meaning. Age-set is a social system or organization which involves age and sex in the distribution of activities and duties. It means that age-set organization refers to the organization system that involves age and sex in the distribution of responsibilities and the duties. Therefore, age, sex, and gender are highly considered in the division of labor and the specialization in that organization. Examples of the tribes that practice the age set are the Maasai in Tanzania, Kalamajong in Uganda, and the Nandi in Kenya. So these are the examples of age-set organization societies which were practicing that kind of political organization. The social, political, and economic organizations of the societies that practiced the age-set organization was based on age and sex in the division and the specialization of labor. The main economic activities in age-set system society was livestock keeping, which resulted in a semi-nomadic life. It means that the states which adapted, societies which adapted age-set organization, where the main economic activities was pastoralism, it means animal keeping, and that led to the resulting in a semi-nomadic life. It means that they were living the semi-nomadic life. The tribes which practiced the age-set system were Maasai in Tanzania, Kalamajong in Uganda, and the Nandi in Kenya. Let us see the age-set covered a specific group of years. It means that the distribution of responsibilities and duties based on age and sex were covered or were distributed according to the specific group of years. For example, children group aged from 0 to 8 years were regarded as non-producer group. It means that the age from 0 to 8 were regarded as non-producer group, and they were not directly involved in production. Their main responsibility was to take care of their young children, of their young relatives. They had no any responsibility or duty to be performed by those groups. Another group was youth group from 8 to 18 years. Their main responsibility was to raise animals, trading young animals, and milking cattle. They were assisted by women. It means that the age group of 8 up to 18 years, their main responsibility was to raise animals, trading young animals, and milking cattle, and they were assisted by the women. And another group was Molan group, people between youth and adults aged between 35 years and above. These were soldiers of the society, and the society and the main responsibility of the Molans were as follows. It means that Molan were between the age of youth and adult, from 19 to 35. And these were soldiers of the society, and their responsibility were as follows. The first responsibility of Molan was to protect the whole society as trained soldiers. It means that the Molan were responsible to protect the society. And the second one was to protect livestock against dangerous animals and raiders. It means that the Molans were there to protect the livestock or cattle against dangerous animals like lions and raiders or invaders. Another responsibility of Molan was to increase the number of animals through raiding their neighbors. It means that the Molan were increasing or were responsible to increase the number of animals through raiding their neighbors. And the last one was to travel with their herds in search for water and pastures. It means that another responsibility of Molan was to travel with cattle to search for pasture and water. That was Molan. But another group is Laibon. Laibon, this is the group of elders aged from 40 years and above, and it consisted of elders who were divided in groups, namely junior elders and senior elders. Responsibilities of elders included the responsibility of this group was to control livestock and the properties on behalf of their communities. It means that their main responsibility was to control livestock and the properties on behalf of their community, but also to enable norms and ethics to govern the society. It means that they were the provider of norms and ethics to govern the society. Also, they were top overseer of all spiritual and political matters of the community. It means they were overseeing all spiritual and political matters in the society or in the community. But also, they were responsible for counseling other members of the society. Another responsibility of elders or Laibons were to settle disputes among the society members. It means that they were responsible to settle disputes or conflicts among the society members. And the last one was they were regarded as retired producers of the society, but their ideas and skills were highly appreciated. So these were the responsibility of Laibons or elders in the society. So let us see another term, which is internship. The meaning of the internship system is a socio-political organization or system characterized by being made up of separated groups. It means that internship was the socio-political system was a socio-political organization or system characterized by being made up of separated groups. The word internship is derived from the word kutema, which means split apart, to split apart. It means that the word internship was derived from the word kutema, that means to divide or to split apart something. And the ruler in internship system was called mtemi. It means that the ruler of that Ntemi system, the ruler of the Ntemi system was called Ntemi. The Nyamwezi tribe practiced the Ntemiship. Here on the picture you can see that here they are Ntemi. They have Ntemi, who was their leader and is governed, is protected by the soldiers of the society. Responsibilities of Ntemi, not Ntemi, Ntemi. Responsibilities of Ntemi. He was the top authority in the political and matters provided overall guidance in the community. It means that Ntemi was the top authority in the political matters provided overall guidance in the community. It means that he was the top authority or top leader in the community. And another, he enforced the proper uses of resources such as land, water, and forest resources, etc. It means that the Ntemi was there to enforce proper uses of resources that were available in the society or community, such as land, water, forest resources, and etc. Also, he was overseer of the community food reserve. It means that he overseeing the community food reserve. But also he settled disputes in the community. That the Ntemi was there to settle the disputes that could arise in the community. Another, he had the religious power. It means that he had the religious power. So he led the people in his community in performing religious and offering sacrifice to the spirits. The Africans were believing in many gods. So the Ntemi was a leader in the community to perform the religious and offering sacrifice of to the spirits or to their gods. Another was to collect tributes from his subjects, meaning that Ntemi was there to collect tributes from his subjects by using the soldier of that society. And the last one, he provided overall guidance in the society. That was the responsibilities of the response. So let us see the factors for the state formation. State formation. Factors for state formation. In Africa, there was the states which was emerging. So there were various factors that led to the formation of states. The first one was geographical location. It means that the geographical location of an area determined the formation of states, either to be centralized or decentralized or non-centralized. Geographical location, for example, in trading, while some of the African states were near to the trading towns as they obtained taxi and commodities. It means that there are some areas that were near the trading towns, so they attained or obtained taxi and commodities that enabled that area to form state. But also the iron technology. It means that iron technology was another factor for the state formation. In Africa also helped in the development and rise of African states. For example, by iron they made weapons like spears, arrows, etc. And guns, etc. weapons were useful on conquering small states. Uganda conquered Bunyolo, Kutolo, and Nyankole. It means that the iron technology was there to make tools of iron, or iron tools and weapons. For example, spears, arrows, and other iron tools which were used, or iron weapons that were used in conquering the neighboring states in order to expand the territory. For example, Buganda conquered Bunyoro, Kutoro, and Nyankole by using the weapons which were made from the iron tools, or which were from the iron ore. Another was good leadership. To mean that the states were formed because of presence, their good leadership. Good leadership, and they were able to organize their states. For example, Shaka Zulu, Milambo of Nyamwezi, Mkwawa of Uhehe, Tunkamanini of Ghana, Sundiata of Mali, etc. It means that those leaders were able to organize their states, or their people, to form their states. For example, Shaka Zulu in South Africa, Milambo of Nyamwezi in Tanzania, Mkwawa of Uhehe in Ilinga, Tungamanini of Ghana, Sundiata of Mali, and Askia Mohammed of Songhai. These were the good leadership, or leaders who made it to form states. Another was trade. It means that trade was another factor for the rise of states, or for the formation of states. For example, long distance trade and trans-Saharan trade. It means that some states in Africa ultimately, as they were involved in trading activities. For example, during the long distance trade, the areas that were involved in that trade, like Nyamwezi, Yao, Kamba, Buganda, were the areas or societies which were participated fully in long distance trade between the people of the interior of East Africa and the Arabs and Swahili traders from the coastal area. So they accumulated a lot of wealth, and that led to the formation of states, or centralized states, as they were participated in trading activities. But also influence of Islamic religion, or jihad war. Through the use of jihad, while states were turned into Islamic states. For instance, in West Africa, we see the Sokoto Caliphate under Othman Dan Fodio, who managed to conquer several states in the forest zone. So the Islamic war, or jihad war, was another factor for state formation. For example, Sokoto Caliphate under Othman Dan Fodio was formed as the influence of jihad war, or Islamic war. What were the factors for the fall of some African states? The first factor for the fall was the increase in size of states led to poor organization and state management. It means that the increase in size of the states led to the poor organization and the state management. For example, Ghana and other states were failed because of the increase in size of the state, and the leaders were not able to organize and manage the states. Also, wars and conquest. It means that the wars and conquest was another factor that led to the decline of the states, as some of the states were conquered by strong states. For example, Mfekane War, about 100 states were conquered by Zulu, so that led to the collapse or decline of states. But also, slave trade in Africa also affected a lot of weak states, while strong states managed to conquer smaller states. For example, Fulani in West Africa declined due to the slave trade. It means that The slave trade was another factor that made the collapse or decline of states. For example, Fulani in West Africa was collapsed as it was conquered by the strong states during the slave trade in order to get the slaves. But also the system of obtaining leaders through there is misplacement of the content here. Yes, we are proceeding to mean that the weak leaders were not able to defend their states, and that led to their collapse. So let us see the state organization or state formation. So here we are going to see different states or the formation of different states. The types of states in Africa. States were classified into two. There were decentralized states or non-centralized states and the centralized states. Centralized states and the decentralized states. These immediately are the result of one power family to control other classes in domination of race and political power. It means that by starting with decentralized states, these immediately are the result of one power family to control other classes in domination of race and the political power. So decentralized states are the various features or characteristics. The following are the characteristics of decentralized states. Most of decentralized societies were small in terms of population and area. To mean that the size of decentralized state was small and were small in size and population. Also, decentralized states had no political connection with a large kingdom. It means that decentralized states had no political connection with a large kingdom. It means that they were isolated with the domination of the strong family that has political power and wealth. Also, each village was politically separated and was not politically connected to neighboring villages. It means that each village was politically separated. Also, most of centralized societies did not have a system of chiefs. It means that most of decentralized states had no system of chiefs. And the last one is that Council of Elders were religious leaders, and the organizational structure of kinship ties lineage groups. To mean that the Council of Elders were religious leaders in the decentralized states. Let us see another type of states, which is centralized states or centralized kingdom or empires. Some African societies were large empires governed by kings who had near absolute power. To mean that some African societies were large empires governed by kings. By definition, centralized states or kingdoms are the type of state. So after looking the decentralized societies or states, I would like to wind up there and leave the questions which you have to perform. The question is only one, and it states that define the following terms as used in history. The first one is age-set organization, second one is internship, third is clan organization, the fourth one is centralized states, and the fifth one or the last is decentralized states. Not here, it is states, sorry, states. So until there, I would like to wind up our session. Thank you for watching and welcome in the next class.